Welcome to a learning and study skills session that focuses on a task that many students seem to find a great degree of difficulty with, paraphrasing. The session begins with examining what exactly do we mean by paraphrasing. Secondly, you are much more likely to develop good learning skills if you do understand the importance of developing that skill. Therefore, the second section explores why a student should paraphrase. The following two sections then provide worked examples of how an original piece of work might be paraphrased. And finally, the summary section reflects on the session and draws the various lessons together. First of all, we need to clarify what exactly do we mean by the term paraphrasing. As the definitions indicate, there is a requirement to rework or restate an existing body of work in a way that demonstrates your understanding of the topic. It is important to note that paraphrasing does not mean simply changing one or two words. It requires you to really engage with the material and recognise the important points and refashion them while still retaining the key points. So why paraphrase? As one of the definitions indicated, paraphrasing is a teaching and learning device. In order to paraphrase a passage, the reader needs to engage with the content and thus be able to recognise the key words or phrases that will help structure the subsequent paraphrased piece. Academic writing requires the student to locate relevant and appropriate material and use it in such a manner that it supports their arguments or contentions. Academic writing requires more than simply presenting large chunks of other people's text. While the authors may well have been correctly attributed, and thus there is no plagiarising, simply transcribing large chunks of text just shows that you can type. The example we will work through is based on the work of Prosser and Locksley regarding the use of visual research methods in the social sciences. Even if the humanities or social sciences are not your subject areas, the strategy and technique can be applied to your own areas of interest or study. As I said previously, paraphrasing is all about extracting the essence of a piece and not simply transcribing chunks of the material. Therefore, let us begin by reading through the piece, noting the main words or phrases that will provide the framework of the subsequent paraphrase. The words and phrases that appear to capture the piece are thus: not to provide, but to highlight, salient developments, and the subjects of sociology and anthropology, and on modes of image production. Using these words and phrases, we can now construct our own paraphrased piece. Prosser and Locksley begin by telling us that their aim was not to provide a widespread piece, thus it is an introductory piece. Their aim, therefore, was to highlight a number of developments. They then move on to tell us about the parameters of their subsequent deliberations by focusing only on the disciplines of sociology and anthropology, and only on still and moving modes of production. You will note that two direct quotes are incorporated into their piece. This is not a problem. Sometimes you may spend more time and effort in trying to avoid using a direct quote, or may simply wish to use a specific term or phrase. In either case, the use of short, concise quotes is very useful. Just remember to try and avoid, as much as possible, large-scale transcription. The next example is based on the second paragraph of the Prosser and Locksley paper. Once again, we will read through the piece, identifying the important words or phrases that we will subsequently use to construct our paraphrased piece of work. However, it is useful at this point in time to raise an important issue. While reading through papers, you may often be presented with an unfamiliar term or phrase. It is always advisable to use some reference source, such as I did when faced with the unfamiliar term camera obscura. The unfamiliar term may or may not be crucial in developing our understanding of the paper. But if we don't check it out, we will not be in a position to decide what are the key words or phrases. So, having read through the paragraph, the words or phrases that I felt captured the essence were: has long played, converted, the emergence in the late Renaissance, innovations, and perceptions. Using these words and phrases, the paraphrased piece that I wrote was thus. As you can see, the piece is not intended to be a direct copy of the original, and in this instance I did not use any direct quotes, yet I feel that I have captured and rephrased the important points. Finally, and in summary, reading through a piece and identifying the important words or phrases requires you to really think about the relative importance of each sentence. If you are not careful, you will think that everything is important and be back to square one. These key words and phrases are crucial to structuring and writing your subsequent work. Once you have these, you can use them like scaffolding to help build up your own work. These examples only provide a small illustration as to how you might engage with written material in order that you can demonstrate your ability to comprehend and utilise other people's work in a manner that is scholarly. And finally, remember that the development of skills takes time, but it is worth persevering. Thank you and well done for completing this module.